Good morning, Year 4. Welcome to Lesson 4 of our Science Unit, Healthy Bodies. For today's lesson, you are going to need some kind of resource that can measure time. So a clock, a watch, your phone, a stopwatch, anything that you're going to be able to count seconds, okay? So try and go and get that now. If you really can't, then that's fine because you can use my data, but it's going to be a lot better if you can, all right? Let's start today's lesson then with some total recall. Can you think back to Year 3 and the parts of a plant? Year 4, what do the words evaporation and condensation mean? Year 5, what can you tell me about dissolving? And then Year 6, what are microorganisms? Have a go at that now. Okay, so let's reveal the parts of the plant. See how many you are able to remember. We've got main parts of the plant and then both male and female reproductive parts. Pause the video and have a read of those definitions for evaporation and condensation and see how close you are. Here's my little paragraph on what dissolving means to me. And then microorganisms, the most recent thing we've looked at. Well done for having a go at those. Now, can you please get your science book and write today's short date title and WILF really neatly, all underlined, spelled correctly, and then we'll start when you are ready. So, bronze, silver, and gold, you're going to investigate how exercise affects your heart rate. Silver, you're going to do bronze plus presenting your results in a bar chart. Gold, same as silver, and then you're going to do a further investigation on how your breathing changes during exercise. Today's learning power focus is questioning. Science is built on curiosity. I thought I'd tell you that all the time. We ask questions, we try to find out the answers to the questions, we come up with more questions. Science is never ending, it's everything around us. It's why I love it so much. Last lesson recap then. We missed science last week because we had the non-screen day. So you can either look back in your book or think really hard back to the lesson on the heart, the lungs, and the circulatory system. Pause the video now and have a read to recap your knowledge. Today then, without our heart, we know we couldn't survive, and it's important to take care of your heart to make sure it is healthy. And one of the ways to do this is to exercise regularly. But what happens to your heart when you exercise? We're going to find out a little bit about that in today's lesson. So this is really important. What is your resting pulse rate? In other words, how many times a minute does your heart beat when you are resting? Now you're going to need to be able to take your pulse or have an adult be able to do it for you in order for you to complete today's lesson. So have a look at the image. Take your pulse by touching your wrist with your index and middle fingers, okay? And as you place your fingers on your wrist, I tend to need quiet for this, so I can just really concentrate. You should just feel a little beat in your wrist, just boom, boom, boom. Okay? So pause the video, take as long as you need to practice that. Again, if you're really struggling, you can ask an adult at home. Once you are able to do that, let's move on. So, how do you think your heart rate might change after you've done 20 star jumps? What about if you ran around the playground 3 times? Well, today we are going to be investigating how our heart rate is affected by exercise. And as I talk through this, and as you write it out, think about how we could be making sure that this is a fair test. So, I'm going to go through the bronze, silver, and gold worksheet. When you have a look at them, they're really self-explanatory, okay? If you can print them off, then that's great. You just write the answers on your sheet. If not, you just write the answers in your book. You do not need to print them off. Silver and gold, where you're going to be presenting your data in a bar chart, you'll probably need some math paper. So just take a sheet from the back of your book, or if you prefer, just draw it into your math book and just title it as science, okay? Now, try very hard to record your own data, so taking your own pulse during this investigation. But for any reason that you struggled with that, you can use my data, which is here. That's my table. That's my graph. And we'll come back to that. It will make much more sense once you've read the worksheets. So let's have a look at bronze, silver, and gold. My laptops are very slow. Here we go then. Bronze. What happens to your heart rate when you exercise? Take your pulse before and after exercising and record your results below. So you've got several questions and you just need to answer those questions. What kind of exercise will you be doing? Now, this goes for bronze, silver, and gold. I ran on the spot for 2 minutes. So anything that's quite vigorous, that's going to get your heart rate really going. So that could be some press ups, that could be skipping, it could be jumping on the spot, anything that's going to kind of make you a little bit breathless. How long will you do your exercise for? I did mine for 2 minutes. You can do yours for a minute. You can do it for a little bit longer, but just as long as you are feeling that you're exerting some effort. And then the important part, what is your resting pulse rate? So take this before your exercise. Then do your exercise and record what your pulse rate is after. And then you've got several questions to answer based on that information. Silver then. Again, same as bronze, perform the exercise, but first take your resting pulse rate. Then you have a prediction to do. Now complete your exercise and take your pulse rate every minute until it returns to your resting pulse rate or very near it. So if we go to my data, before I exercised, so 0 minutes, my heart rate was 65 beats per minute. Then I did my exercise, and on 1 minute after, I measured my heart rate, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, until the 6 minutes after, my heart rate had returned to normal. And then I used this information to create my bar chart. So again, you can pause it on this. This will help support you when you draw your own silver and gold with that information. And you've got a little bit more to do. Gold, once you've completed the silver, you have another investigation to complete by looking at how exercise affects our lungs. And again, if you read through that, it's very similar to what you've just done, all very self-explanatory. But if you have any major problems, then please, I am on Teams, give me a shout. Okie dokie. So once you have picked bronze, silver, or gold, have a go completing that. Once you are done, come back and we will just round off the lesson. See you soon. Okay, well done. I can't wait to see the results. So to finish, as you get fitter, your heart is able to function more effectively. This means that your heart rate during exercise will decrease. As you get fitter, when you exercise, your heart won't have to work as hard. And as will the time it takes for your heart to return to its resting rate. So as you get fitter and you do exercise, it will return to what it was pre-exercise much more clear, and this can really be a good indication of how fit and normal that you are. Now, this is probably one of the best challenges I've seen. What challenges could you set yourself at home over the next few weeks or months to see if you can get your heart in better shape? You might come up with your own kind of training plan, whether it's riding your bike, running, whatever it may be, because you're reaching an age now where you're at a point where you've got to start taking a little bit more responsibility for how you're looking after your body. And one of the most important things in life is to make sure that we are fit and healthy. So, as I've said, looking forward to looking at your work. If you have any major problems, I am available on Teams. Good luck, and I'll speak to you soon.